Oh yeah.
Say it with your chest where clarity reigns supreme. Here we step away from the noise and distraction rampant in today's media. Our mission is to present verifiable facts at the forefront of every discussion, allowing you to differentiate between opinion and evidence in real time. We dissect the intricate web of politics, highlighting the real impacts on policy, power, and money. This isn't just idle chatter. It's about understanding who gets affected, who faces pressure, and who bears the financial burden. If you're weary of empty performances and are craving substantial conversations, you found your space. Join us as we strip away the theatrics and tackle the truth with the context it deserves. Here we prioritize facts first, empowering your understanding.
Good evening. This is No Cap Live, Say It With Your Chest. I'm Allee Major. Tonight is a premiere in Receipts Room. And I'm gonna say this clean. War doesn't just happen over there. It shows up as premiums here. Premiums at the pump, premiums at the store, premiums in shipping, premiums in insurance, premiums in public spending. Pause. So I'm not doing party loyalty tonight. I'm not doing slogans. I'm doing mechanisms. And I want receipts from where you live. Look at the pinned comment. Drop your state, your gas price today, what it was last week, and then tell me which category you think benefited the most. Oil, refining, shipping, insurance, defense, or trading. Pause. Because I'm building a receipts map. And receipts beat arguments any day. If you're just joining, don't scroll, comment first, then watch. Here's how tonight works. I'm gonna play part 1, short, on purpose. And then I'm gonna come back live and break it down and read the receipts. Then I'm gonna play part 2. Then I'm coming back with live. The fuel, the part that people avoid. Who benefits and how. Part 3, I'm not playing tonight. Part 3 is posted on the Gag-Order and on my Allee Major YouTube page. If you want to watch it, go there because the full action plan lives there. Now, let's get to part 1. Excuse me. No Cap Live, say it with your chest on the Gag-Order. No fandom, no theatrics, just mechanisms, consequences, receipts. Tonight's title, War with Iran. Who pays, who profits? And I'm going to say this clean. War doesn't just cost lives overseas, it taxes people at home. Pause. At the pump, at the store, and through public spending. Here's the line for tonight, and I want you to remember this. War creates volatility. Volatility creates premiums. Premiums create winners, and the public, they pay the toll. Pause. If you think this doesn't touch you because you're not in uniform, watch your receipts. I'm not doing conspiracy. I'm not doing they planned it. I'm not doing vibes. I'm doing cause and effect. What happened, what it does to prices, who eats the cost, who gets paid, and what people can do next. Let's start with receipts. All proof cards will be sorted on the left side of the screen. Reuters reported U.S. prices near a 4-year high tied to the Iran disruption and refinery outages. Pause. That's not a tweet. That's not a rumor. That's a wired service saying this conflict environment is showing up in your wallet. Reuters also reported oil hitting a 4-year high, above about $126 a barrel on escalation concern. Pause. When oil spikes, gas doesn't stay polite. It follows, not because the gas station owner hates you, because the supply chain is priced off global risk. Reuters warned earlier that U.S. gasoline prices were set to rise after the attack on Iran. Pause. So if you're sitting there thinking, why did my fill-up jump? This is why. Now let me translate this mechanism into plain English. Oil is global. Shipping is global. Insurance is global. When war risk rises, three things happen. Oil prices move on fear and supply risk. Shipping gets more expensive because routes get riskier. Insurance premiums rise because underwriters price in danger. Pause. And then the cost doesn't stay on the spreadsheet. They travel. They travel into gasoline, diesel, delivery fees, grocery prices, construction costs, and the cost of running a business. Reuters also reports insurers expecting war risk pricing to remain elevated as the war heightens shipping risk. Pause. That's not the premium. That's the invisible tax. And if you want the clean policy grade explanation of why they get so sensitive so fast, we have a proof card from the Congressional Research Service. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point in global energy and shipping dynamics. Pause. Meaning that region, when it's unstable, the market doesn't wait for a press conference. It reprices immediately. Now let's talk about the toll in America. If you're wealthy, higher gas prices is annoying. If you're working class, higher gas prices is a penalty because you don't opt out of commuting. You don't opt out of taking your kids where they need to go. You don't opt out of deliveries being baked into foods and goods. Pause. War overseas becomes pressure at home. It hits the hardest where people have the least slack. Now I want receipts from you. Comment your state and answer this. What did gas cost you last week? What did it cost today? And who do you think benefited? Be specific or category based. Pause. Because the pattern is national, but the receipts, they're local. Stay tuned for part 2. My name is Allee Major, and this is Say It With Your Chest. And believe it, I'm gonna say it with my chest.
Sponsored by Get Your Life Right Industries, the proud makers of Bought Follower Polish. Are you tired of having 20,000 followers and 14 likes? And still acting surprised? Introducing Bought Follower Polish for creators who want big numbers with no community. With features like Bot Comment Pack, Likes on Demand, Engagement Camouflage, hides the ratio, and Brand Deal Delusion, makes you say they sleeping on me. So if you're buying followers instead of earning trust, call Get Your Life Right Industries. Get your life right, because brands can count.
Now listen, this is why I'm not worried about the episode being short, because the short version gets you in the door. The live is where we build the wall. Let me pull up 3 points out of part 1, and I want to say it disciplined. 1, war creates premiums. War is not just violence. War is a pricing event. It creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates volatility. Volatility creates premiums. And premiums don't ask if you voted. Premiums don't care what team you're on. Premiums, they just show up. 2, the pump is a weekly tax. If you're working class, gas is not optional. It's not a luxury line item. It's how you get to work. It's how money moves. It's how you move in your life. So when gas jumps, that's not news. That's a pay cut. 3, receipts. Beat the narratives. This is why I'm collecting state-by-state receipts, because people will argue with you down with options, but they can't argue with the pattern. Now, if you're just joining, I need you to do one assignment. Drop your state, gas today, gas last week. I want to know what you paid. These are the things that I'm adding up to see what's going on, and then I bring receipts. It's not opinion. I'm going to read for a few seconds, but first, part 2. This is the one that makes people uncomfortable, because part 2 is who profits off of us. And I'm going to warn you, We're not doing conspiracy language. We're doing categories and incentives. Say it with your chest on the gag order. No fandom, no theatrics, just mechanisms, consequences, and receipts. Tonight is part 2, War with Iran. Who pays, who profits? So let's reset the thesis so nobody gets lost. War creates volatility. Volatility creates premium. Premiums create winners. And the public, they pay the toll. Pause. So now we're going to answer the part people avoid. Who profits when war risk rises? Not a conspiracy, as a system. All proof cards are sourced on the left side of the screen. First, oil producers. When crude prices spike, producers can benefit because the product they produce is sold at a higher price. That doesn't mean every company wins the same way, but in general, higher crude prices can mean higher revenue. Pause. And you don't have to guess the oil moved. Reuters reported oil hitting a 4-year high, above about $126 a barrel on escalation concern. That's the volatility. That's the price signal. 2, refiners. Here's the simple version. Crude oil is the input. Gasoline and diesel are the output. When the supply is tight or disrupted, what matters is the spread between the input cost and the output price. Sometimes refiners get the squeeze, but in many disruptive cycles, refining margins widen and pump prices rise fast. Pause. And Reuters tied pump pricing rising to war disruption plus refinery outages. That matters because it shows you the chain. War risk plus refinery constraints equal higher prices. 3, shipping insurance. This is the part people don't talk about because it's not sexy, but it's one of the cleanest premium mechanisms in the whole story. When war risk rises, routes get riskier, cargo gets riskier, ports get riskier, and insurance gets repriced. Reuters reported insurers expecting war risk pricing to remain elevated as shipping risk rise. Pause. That's not politics, that's underwriting. And when underwriting costs rise, goods don't float into America for free. That cost gets passed through. 4, defense contractors. Here's a disciplined way to say it. War consumes equipment, munitions, logistics, maintenance, and services. Then governments replenish. That replenishment moves through procurement, contracts, orders, and supply chain. Pause. So even if you've never seen a headline that says Company X profited, the structure is war increases demand for defense production and services. And the public, they pay the toll through budget and debt, even if it doesn't show up as a line item you can point to on your monthly bill. 5, traders and volatility players. This is the cold truth. Some people don't need prices to go up or down. They just need prices to move. War creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates volatility. Volatility creates opportunity for anyone to position, to profit from swings. Pause. So when you hear the market is nervous, understand nervous markets are profitable markets for somebody. Now here's the moral framing, and I'm going to keep it disciplined. If your community is paying for more at the pump and paying for more at the store and paying for more through public spending, then the public deserves to ask, who got paid while we got the squeeze? Pause. This is not anti-American. This is pro-accountability. And I want to introduce the 2 tolls concept. There are 2 tolls in the story. Toll 1, the pump toll, immediate, personal, weekly. Toll number 2, the policy toll, budgets, contract, debt, long-term cost. And here's why people feel crazy. Because toll 1 hits you fast, and toll 2 gets buried in complexity. Pause. This is how systems avoid scrutiny. I want you to help me build a receipt thread. In the comments, write your state. What gas is today near you? And which category you think benefited the most? Oil, refining, shipping, insurance, defense, or trading? Keep it short. Make it trackable. And in part 3, I'm going to tell you what we can do next without pretending we control foreign policy. Because you can't vote away a premium overnight. But you can demand transparency overnight and protection from getting fleeced. My name is Allee Major, and this is Safe.
Sponsored by Get Your Life Right Industries, the proud makers of the Trend Chaser. Are you tired of hopping on trends you don't even like just to get 300 views? Introducing the Trend Chaser Kit for creators. For creators who confuse motion with progress, with features like late to the trend, guaranteed to post after it's dead, forced reaction mode even when it's not funny, and our flagship product, the Brand Eraser, removes your personality completely. So if you're chasing trends instead of building a brand, call Get Your Life Right Industries. And get your life right, because trends don't equal growth.
All right, here's the fuel. This is where we stop being polite. War creates volatility. Volatility creates premiums. Premiums create winners. And the public, they pay the toll. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this with a twist. I was going to do it a different way, but I'm going to do this with a twist. Category A. Categories, not consequences. I'm saying they didn't plan this. I'm saying when conditions change, incentives, they pay out. That's not theory. This is how markets and contracts work. And if you didn't hear me, I'm going to say that this is not a conspiracy. I'm not saying that they planned it. When conditions change, incentives pay out. That's not theory. That's how markets and contracts work. So when people ask, who profits? I answer with categories. Oil producers, they can benefit when crude prices rise. Refiners can benefit when margins widen during disruptions. Shipping and insurance benefits when war risk prices rise. Defense benefits when replenishment and procurement accelerate. Traders benefit when volatility increases because movement is opportunity for them. They gain off somebody's death. Just to be honest, pause. The public mistake is arguing the terms instead of tracking the tolls. We always argue instead of tracking what's going on. They argue red versus blue. They argue personalities. They argue slogans. Meanwhile, the premiums are still drafting in your bank account. So I'm going to say this the safe way, but the true way. Institutions protect themselves first. And when they need the public calm, they sell closure. They lie to us. When they need the public support, oh, they sell urgency. And the public is expected to pay. Either way you go, doesn't matter. Receipts over allegiance. I don't care which party it is. And I want you to notice something. The toll is national, but the pain, oh, that's local. That's why I want this thread. Because next time somebody says, oh, it's not affecting us, I'm going to point them straight to it. Now, this is where people usually ask, okay, Allee, what do we do? Well, that's part 3. And I'm not playing part 3 live on purpose tonight because I want you to go watch it on the Gag-Order page or the Allee Major YouTube page. That's a fact. That's where the action plan is. What I track weekly. Who to contact and who to demand definitions instead of swallowing slogans. So here's the deal. If you got value from part 1 and part 2, don't stop the outrage. Go get the playbook. Do this for me. Follow No Cap Live on anything you see me on. Share this live to somebody who says war does not touch us. And please, go watch part 3 right after this. It should be dropping about right now. Comment under it. Your state, your receipts, and what I define. Please, no fandom, no theatrics, just mechanisms, consequences, and receipts. I'm out. And remember, the consequences are active. The crisis, yo, hold on. Let me get this right. Because I really want to say something. I got another show coming out. If the consequences are still active, then the crisis is still active. No matter what they say to us, they can lie to us all they want. But if the consequences are still active, then the crisis is still here. Pay attention. I'm out.